But yeah, the Sveeple's out, and looks nicely Minmatar-esque.
Well, it's not out.
Yeah, out on CC, I should say.
It comes out February 17th, I believe.
That's right.
Is the release date for Tiamat. Where we don't actually get a whole lot. A dev blog was released with the breakdown, which essentially adds up to this ship. All of the projectile weapon rebalances that we've already had a look at. It also tells us about things we already know, including the Concord, the internal corp conflict thing, where Concord can intervene, corp management, quality of life updates, which we saw in the '07 show last month. Was it last month or before the holidays?
It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. And then there's new physically based rendering editions, which okay. So I mean, this cycle, these last two releases, coming up a little bit short with actual interesting content, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping for a little more out of the 6-week cycle. I understand that there can't be something big every release because of the news cycle they're on, but it makes it kind of boring, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard to get hyped for one of these individual releases. Like if Tiamat and Rhea had been packaged together, just to name a couple, that would have been enough features for me to go, wow, I can't wait for Rhea-mot, or whatever they call it. I can't wait for this many features to come at once. But it's hard to get, when there's only 1 or 2 things coming out every month. It's like a drip feed. It just becomes normal. I will go ahead and I think let's just go ahead and jump in where we were off. I think I was enjoying talking about the Jovian ships.
For sure. Like I said, the Jovian ships, not only do they look amazing, which is amazing,
it's a totally new aesthetic for Eve ships, which is pretty hard to do, I think. With Amar, Mimitar, Galente, and Caldari, they have covered a lot of art styles, but these
I can't even
new
link
Jove
things.
ships...
I'm a moderator. Are you kidding? Oh, I'm not a moderator. So apparently I can't link you guys.
I got it. I'm linking it now. Ba-boom. They look completely alien compared to the other Eve ships, and that is a very difficult thing to do. It's impressive. Reminds me a little bit of Reapers, maybe, from Mass Effect. It's a nice look.
Yeah, I'm definitely, we were saying on the Meta Show on Saturday that we really hope that these ships are ships that not only can we get our hand on, but that maybe the Jovians themselves could become a playable race. And that if they did... I
would love to fly one of these.
Yes, and that if they did, it would be a great marketing ploy at CCP, because everyone... I can almost guarantee that just about everybody currently playing the game would be like, oh my god, Jovian's new class, new faction, new ships, must have now. We'll go and create a new account specifically.
Yeah. I think it's all a part and parcel of, we were complaining just earlier about the 6-week release cycle and how quickly things are coming out, but ever since Rhea and maybe before, they seem to have had this overarching theme where they keep talking about things like creating new Stargates, and the Jovians and Sleepers are off doing things again, and it's not just lore talk or news bits, it's actually stuff that you can go out in the game world and see, and it can impact you. And that's something that we haven't seen from Eve in a long time, so I'm optimistic about it on the whole.
Yes. I'm excited.
Now, absolutely. Just depends on CCP's execution, basically.
I'm really hoping that they're not just NPCs, because I don't PvE a whole lot. I don't find that aspect of the game particularly interesting.
It's not particularly engaging.
There are some people that enjoy it, and that's fine, but it is definitely not my first choice of thing to go do when I log into Eve. Maybe this will make it interesting. Maybe that's the goal of this. Obviously, all we can do is sit here and speculate about how awesome or not awesome this could potentially be.
Judging purely by looks pretty awesome.
Yes, looks amazing.
I want I want to talk about the way the one ship we've seen is armed. It's got these energy weapons that behave like drones. The Drifter battleship that hover over the weapons, over the ship's hull itself, like detached turrets. We haven't seen these things actually fire, but I imagine it is a unique effect and pretty sexy. I'm going to go ahead and link the Drifter battleship concept art in chat.
Amazing.
Yes, it is very exciting indeed. And we're not entirely clear. I believe that's going to be a Jove-type ship, but it could also be associated with the Circadian Sleepers, or Seekers, rather, which are at least somewhat related to sleepers and wormhole stuff. It's all very vague at this point, basically. CCP has been CCP's been teasing stuff out, and you can make inferences from the sort of art that they release and what comes out on CC, but for once, everybody's guessing, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's, it gives us something to look forward to, because there's nothing in any of the dev blogs or notes that really give us anything to look forward to at the moment, which is unfortunate. I really hope that we get something more specific about things to come.
A little meatier, yeah.
Very soon, because not like this is pretty much the bulk of our Eve news. The only other thing was that a small tidbit about the Sov rework came out, like very small. It mentioned in passing that they're looking at the removal of the hit point grind, and the goal is to spread fights around. So those are their two goals with Sov. The hit point grind, which we all know and love. No, what's the other word?
Can't get enough of it.
What's the other
word? I think
that's the word.
Hate? Yeah, hate.
Hate. Yes, we hate it. It's the worst thing on the planet. The hit point grind makes people want to gouge their eyes out. It's awful. And CCP is looking to eliminate that, which, thank God. I guess we'll find out how they eliminate that, and if it's better, hopefully it is. And to spread fights around. So spreading fights around makes me think back to the changes with jump distances and jump fatigue, where they're trying
more smaller fights,
trying to keep things spread out. I keep mousing over the thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I agree. I think there is something to be said for the idea of spreading things out and getting rid of the grinds and stuff. Sometimes I feel like CCP just reads all our comments and says, okay, we're going to get rid of the bad things that no one likes and put in good things that everyone likes, and we're not going to tell you how this works, and we're not going to tell you when it's happening, and we're not going to tell you the method by which we do it, but it's going to be great.
Yes.
And I'm like, fine, that's good. I'm glad to not shoot at a pos for an hour with a bunch of harpies or whatever.
God, yes.
But how are you going to make it so that you can't just contest space by planting a flag?
Right. So there's a video apparently with this ship shooting that I'm going to play on the stream for everyone to see, that I just made the full screen. So it's like, they're not quite lasers. Looks like an energy beam. So that is the coolest looking thing. Oh, and the little guns, they're rotating and stuff. So that's,
nice.
Yeah, they look super cool. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that we see something like an ion cannon frigate from Homeworld, or like a Death Star laser.
Yes.
My one big problem with Eve's combat is that you only got the big superpowered cannons from Titans. You know, the Erebus's the Erebus's Doomsday. It's one of the coolest things you can see in Eve, and a tiny minority of Eve players have seen it.
Right.
So seeing, I'm watching the video right now. That looks badass.
Right?
Yes, I want that.
Yes, I want this.
Yes,
CCP,
please let me have that.
If I can't fly this ship or use those weapons, I will throw things at you.
Mm-hmm.
From far distances.
Now I'm gonna look at all your Google Chrome. It went down.
Sorry. So I mean, when it comes to Fanfest, which is 6 weeks, not even away. Not quite 6 weeks, isn't it? Is it March? It's March, right?
Yeah, so pretty
it's about,
soon.
Yeah, so it's coming up in the next month and a half. So it's very soon. So we've got two potential either the Jovian stuff will keep leaking and it'll be a thing that comes out more fully with Tiamat, or we will have a bigger reveal about what exactly they are at Fanfest, or we'll get a big Sov reveal at Fanfest. Yeah. Both of which I'd be happy to see. I'd prefer a little bit more player-based feedback on the Sov stuff. Instead of just some big reveal at Fanfest of, hey, this is what we're doing. No, I'd prefer a dev blog or a forum post. Yeah. This is what we're thinking. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm pretty sure all that stuff is the stuff that was NDA'd to hell in the summit notes that came out recently. Hopefully that means that CCP has been at the very least consulting the CSM, because the CSM getting blindsided on a Sov revamp would be a huge scandal and maybe a disaster.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
But this is around the time frame when we were told to expect more advances on the whole Sov revamp thing. So I think betting that we're going to learn more at FanFest is wise. That's a good bet.
Yeah. So I think that kind of brings us to the end of just Eve speculation talk, because really there's, like I said before, there's not a whole lot, unfortunately, for this patch. But we do have a huge bit of news that released today. Came out in a Reddit post, I believe, first before it came out anywhere else. That Sony Online Entertainment, SOE, has been bought out by this company that I've only heard of once, and it was with the Harmonix deal that went down. Harmonix does Rock Band, or did. I don't know if Rock Band is still a game that's releasing or not. Once the third one came out, I stopped playing.
Yeah.
I think
they'll be making them forever. It's like so? Oregon Trail in the 90s, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eventually it'll peter out.
Yeah, their Columbus Nova is... Columbus, not Columbius.
Columbus Nova LLC, an investment management firm.
Right, so they've purchased Sony Online Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Acquired it, maybe.
Acquired, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for Sony in general. SOE has been losing money for a couple of years now. 2013, they lost $1 billion. 2014, that lost something like $500 million, so things are looking up, if you can call losing $500 million instead of $1 billion looking up. We do know that this, in the past 6 months, is the only time that PlanetSide 2 has actually been profitable. It's spent, a solid year and a half running at a loss. But things may be looking up, but there are financial reasons why Sony might be happy to divest itself of SOE.
Yeah,
now,
it's a tricky business.
Yeah.
The games that have come out, the notable games for us, are, of course, PlanetSide 2 and H1Z1, which is now in beta, I believe. Is it beta?
That's correct.
Right. I wasn't sure if it was beta or alpha.
Early access alpha,
right.
I believe.
Oh, okay. I apologize. So, those are the big games. PlayStation, sorry. Every time I see PS2, I think PlayStation 2. Sorry, PlanetSide 2.
OG.
I catch myself with that every time I go to say it. PlanetSide 2, definitely the bigger of the two games, of course. Huge player base, especially from the Eve community that I know of.
Yeah. Well, H1Z1, if it is a success, you know how many people play those zombie games? It would outshine PS2 pretty rapidly if
it's anything like how DayZ went in its early days. Yeah, for sure. But I personally don't do zombie games. If any of you saw my my Halloween stream, I'm pretty sure I cried. I didn't go to bed until about 6 a.m. that night. Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. So I don't do zombie games. I played H1Z1 for about 5 minutes and was like, hells no. I'm out of this. They just drop you in a forest with your fists. And I was like...
You gotta punch the trees for berries, just like in real life.
Please no, I don't want it.
I don't know. It's hard to tell what this means for SOE. After Columbus Nova picked up Harmonix, Harmonix laid off something like 12 to 15% of its staff. It is a pretty common thing when you have major acquisitions like this.
Absolutely.
The acquiring company will want to, trim the fat, which in essence means, firing people who they don't think have been pulling their weight, who might be contributing to this company or subsidiary organization losing money. So we could expect that, but H1Z1 and PlanetSide 2 are still quite valuable properties, and PlanetSide 2, if SOE is to believe, is actually a money-making property now.
I think I'm hoping and thinking that things will probably get better.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about their past games, and you're right, when saying that, PlanetSide 2 in particular hasn't been profitable until very recently. With a game that's been out,
is still very early in development as well.
With a game that's been out that long, it shouldn't. You'd think theoretically either it shouldn't take that long for a game to be profitable, or that a company wouldn't stick to it if it weren't. But I mean, PlanetSide 2 is a fun game. So it's a wonderful game, and I'm glad that even through the losses that it's been kept up with. And
yeah, SOE has done very well, both in the form of John Smedley and in the form of their developers, and being very open and communicative on Reddit, on Twitter, on the official forums. Even when they screw up, they earn a little bit of credit for that. EverQuest Landmark, still very early on, but people appear to be having a good time with them. We should say that as part of all this being disassociated from Sony, SOE is changing its name to Daybreak Game Company, and SOE Live will not take place this year, obviously. Daybreak, I assume all the properties are still associated with them, H1Z1, PlanetSide 2, EverQuest Landmark, and so on. But it does remain to be seen exactly what Columbus Nova LLC will do with their new authority over SOE, or formerly SOE.
Yeah, from what we know, I mean, the company does not currently have any gaming companies under its actual belt. I believe the Harmonix deal was just them being sort of a middleman in that deal. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It's obviously it's nerve-wracking to those who play games like PlanetSide 2. And it's nerve-wracking as a whole to kind of see what will happen with this company, and if it crashes or thrives, right?
Yeah. I think that they'll probably do well.
Yeah.
I don't think that, even though SOE was in the process of losing money, Sony as a whole has been losing money, and a strong US-based development studio with a bunch of really good IPs under its belt, like SOE, they'll always have someone to snap them up, generally. You don't see huge collapses in the game industry, at least not on the continental United States. People, the companies will change their names, the IPs will be shuffled from one place to another, but I'm optimistic. In fact, this might be a good thing. We just really don't know.
All we can do is sit here and speculate about... Yep. Just like we've done all show. What's going to happen,
but it's fun, right?
With everything. I mean, I'd like for a little bit more substance.
Yeah, me too. But hey, maybe next week. Right now, it's all fluff. Better enjoy it.
I don't know if there's much more to talk about.
What have you been playing this week is something that I had been meaning to ask you, Nystrik.
What did I play this week? I didn't actually play a whole lot of Arcade. I just leveled a lot of my cooking in Arcade. Super boring stuff.
How exactly do you level cooking in Arcade? Do you just
you
hit a button
and stir a pot for like 3 hours?
That sounds like the worst. That sounds like a punishment to me.
Well, what I would do is I would just do that and minimize it, and then just leave it alone. I did my first roam on Friday in Eve since I've resubbed.
A huge success. Rousing success. No. We definitely weren't picked apart by low-sec pirates repeatedly in ships that were worse than ours.
What's that ship? The Orestes?
Orestes? Yeah.
Is that what it's called? The ones that... there was 2 of them. And they came in and they blew us up. I actually have the name written down somewhere. Let me.
I might not have been around for that part.
Yeah. Orthrus. The Orthrus. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names.
Those are the ones with the like infinite point that goes on for like 60 kilometers, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
those are the crazy OP ships. We went around and got found by 2 of those. They had someone bait us into what we thought was an easy kill, and then we were like, oh, we're webbed, we're pointed.
Yeah.
What the? Oh, there's the Orthrus. Oh, we're dead. Okay, cool. So that sucked. The first time we landed on grid to kill something, I wasn't. This is actually my first trek really into lowsec. When Test made the move out to faction warfare, I did not actually.
You didn't tag along?
I think I tagged along for like a day, and I was like, this is not interesting. Okay, bye. And then went off into wormhole space for like a month, and then was done.
Nice.
And then unsubbed. So this was my first actual trek into lowsec. So when we went to land on grid to fire on these ships, I didn't actually have my security thing.
Oh,
you know the little red button there in the bottom left by your interface. I hadn't turned that safety off.
I remember that.
I landed on grid and was like, so I can lock things, but my computer's telling me I can't shoot it. Why? Everyone was like, what? So that was just awful. So apparently
that's a good first loss.
I suck at video games, apparently. And then a lot of it has just been practicing League before I take on my placement matches, because I'm tryharding this year.
Ooh.
This season, I want to get into gold and hopefully further than that in my placements and do well, and hopefully stream it a lot and play well. You know,
Godspeed.
Not be complete shit at video games. Play a little bit of Smite, which is amazing. Actually.
Yes, I really like Smite. I haven't touched it in a few weeks, but
I figured that of all the MOBAs, you would enjoy Smite.
Yeah, I'm bad at micro, and when I have a top-down perspective, I just wish I could drag select all the units and have them do the fighting for me, because it feels so much like an RTS.
Right.
But Smite, for some reason, really works for me, because there's like an aim element to it.
Right. Well, I enjoy it. That's actually part of the reason that they're releasing it on, like, League of Legends doesn't have any portability really to a PS3 or a PS4 or an Xbox. But Smite does.
You need a mouse.
But Smite does, because, you know, you hit your button, then you target, then you shoot it again. Well, I mean, League of Legends, I mean, it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be too difficult for them to implement something like that, but it's definitely not an easy feature. So Smite has an open beta. I believe it's open. I'm not 100% on that. For Smite on the Xbox One. Not that I am an Xbox advocate at all. I'm not.
Xbox advocate? There's a word for it.
Advocate.
Okay.
I said, that's what I thought. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, fair enough.
That's not what I said. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm definitely a PlayStation enthusiast, and not. I dislike Xbox just on principle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Strong feelings.
Yeah, very strong feelings. But so I mean, Smite is a lot of fun. I enjoy the arena mode. So I've just been playing a whole lot of everything, trying to spread out. I've been spreading myself a little thin though with gaming for sure. So
nice.
What about you? What have you been playing?
I've also been spread a little bit thin. The few days that I came back this week from PAX, I pretty much just wanted to lay down all day and not look at any video games.
I don't blame you.
That was intense.
Yeah.
But I've been scaling back up. I did play... I haven't touched Smite in a little while, but I've been watching my roommates play League of Legends, and I'm sort of... literally that is like the extent of my ability to handle League of Legends. I've tried to play it so many times and fucked up so many times.
It's a slow process.
Yeah. But hardcore PvP-ish games. I've been playing some rounds of CSGO lately, actually.
Interesting.
Which is one of the few shooters that I feel competent with, mostly because, you know, I started playing Counter-Strike in like 1999 in the Beta 3, Beta 4, Beta 5 days of, you know, the original Gold Source Counter-Strike. And the nice thing about CSGO is that it really isn't that different. So my instinctual, like, riding a bike knowledge from when I was fucking 12 or whatever still has some use. Like, I still know okay, this is the rate at which I should single shot with the AK, and
Right.
this is how much spread there will probably be, and it's competitive, and at the same time it's soothing, and that's what I needed this week.
So,
The other
Laz is just sorry to.
No, you're good.
Laz is saying in stream that they're giving Mittens an 800 mil Orthrus and sending him loose in nullsec.
That's excellent.
So that
he's gonna die so fast. He's gonna get hot dropped by like 50 people.
we need to start taking bets on how long.
Yes.
We need to figure out a structure for this. This is on Wednesday. For those of you that can't access the chat, just wanted to say it because I know some people, like I watch a lot of streams on my phone, and watching and trying to interact with chat on phone is so difficult. So anyways,
we should definitely figure out a way. I'm going to put down 500 mil to say that he won't last 45 minutes. 45 minutes the limit.
I'm giving 10 minutes, but I don't have ISK to bet.
Aww.
I'm literally broke. I'll find a way to get ISK, and then I'll bet it on 10 minutes.
Get the ISK and bet it. That sounds like a good idea.
I'll bet it on 10 minutes. But
and no rigging by killing Mittens.
No rigging. Yes, no for you either. Not that I would even be able to kill an Orthrus with any of the ships I can fly. Like, no way. But games you're playing, sorry.
Oh yeah, CSGO. You may or may not have ever heard of the unbelievably groggy hex-based strategy game War in the Pacific.
Yes.
Yes, it originally came out in 2005. A community advanced version called Admirals Edition came out in 2009. I have been playing it off and on for a decade now, and modding it as well. And I finally started my multiplayer game, which is an LP on the Something Awful forums. And that has been keeping me occupied writing and playing. It is an intense game. It covers the whole Pacific theater of World War II from California to the east coast of Africa, down to the individual pilot level. As the Japanese, you're doing things like shipping in oil and resources and tweaking your engine production and making sure that you have enough engines to handle your airframe production. And, it's an insanely complicated and detailed game. But I love it immensely for whatever reason.
That sounds interesting. That's definitely not my flavor of game, but...
Yeah, no, it's old school, hex-based. The kind of, when they originally started making computer games... And they said, okay, we can take our board games and automate all the insanely complicated stuff and have a million dice rolls happen at once.
Right.
That's the design philosophy behind this video game, basically. But I'm enjoying it a lot. I might pop a link to the LP for people who have SA forums access in the chat here in a little bit. But it's a good time. That's been occupying a lot of my time. Oh, and the Rome on Friday, Eve.
Which you were there for.
I was for the first part of it.
You got to see me fail.
I got to see you fail, and me fail, and everyone else fail. I think the first thing I brought was... I know I brought a Navy Execrer and did no damage with it and died. Well, I did some damage, but I got kited to death by...
You had a better chance than, you actually stayed alive for those fights and actually did things, whereas the rest of us were like, warp on grid, we're dead! Woo!
Yeah. I brought an Arbitrator to that first fight, that was right, and I managed to do some damage with drones, but my main utility was, since it's an Arbitrator, taking forever to kill. And giving the chance for some people to escape. Not many of us, but some.
I escaped.
Dave Scaris was smart and warped out almost immediately as soon as people showed up, left us all to die. Very clever man.
What a dick.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers what I was playing.
I think that covers just about everything today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really...
It's
not anything going on today.
We'll call this show an abbreviated one, and we'll be much more excited about next week. But I'm glad we had the show regardless.
I'm waiting for more info on things, but yet to have it. So hopefully soon.
Well, we're coming up on Tiamat's release, I believe.
Yep, 2 or 3 weeks. 2-3 weeks.
So
the calendar.
With any luck, we'll have more Eve news to talk about in the coming week.
Yeah, because I'm actually excited about Eve now, and then the news was just gone.
Yeah, I think there's an ebb and flow, especially to Eve's political news. You know, there's a big fight, things ossify, people plan. There's another big fight. It's been a long time since we've had a ongoing dynamic war.
That's true. There's been a lot of Isklost lately, though. Like a lot
Yeah.
of big fights in random spots in Eve for
Mhm.
reasons I'm not really sure. Like it hasn't been really over.
Yeah. Well, it's like Northern Associates territory. That one fight in Amencia was, I believe, the Initiative versus NC
Right.
Dot and their friends. And it's not like either of these sides will collapse if they lose the fight, or even if they lose all their territory.
It is a lot of Isk that they're losing, though. Like
It is.
these are not
Yeah.
small numbers. You're looking at
Well, I mean, a lot of the time it's because they're bringing things like Tempest Fleet
That's
issues
true.
or Navy battleships.
Tengus a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The numbers haven't escalated, but the ISK value of the subcapitals that you bring definitely has.
Absolutely.
But hopefully, as always, I've been saying this ever since the show has been running. But hopefully the Sov revamp comes soon. Hopefully that shakes everything up. And hopefully we get some real wars as opposed to everybody bang your expensive toys together, but nobody really loses anything.
Looking for good fights.
Yeah, not even good fights, for meaningful fights.
Yeah, well, that was because good fights aren't a real thing. They're
Yes.
not. But I mean, you know, yeah. So, anyways, thanks as always, everyone, for watching.
Yes. Thank you guys. Sorry about the tech issues earlier. My bad.
For those
But-
of you that want to rewatch, we'll have this hopefully on YouTube in the next day or two. A nice piece together for you so that it's not a complete mess. Yeah, that's a good one. So thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any feedback, make sure you find ways to get to us. There's infinite possibilities. We don't do giveaways on TMC Live.
Maybe one day.
That's for the meta show. Maybe one day. I doubt it. We'll see.
I have a Navy Typhoon that I need to get rid of, but you have to buy it from me.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
Sorry, buddy. So we will see you all next week.